disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks. I am your host today, Joe Hartley, and with me is Angel Diaz. How are we doing, Angel?
What's up?
Gene is out on some important spy business or some shit, so who cares? You know what? He used to make jokes about Mike, so I'm trying to,
Yo, Joe, I'm sorry. Hold on, stop. That thing on your door, I swear to God, I thought it was a person right now. I was about to tell you, Joe, watch out. Holy crap. I swear to God.
You're cracking me up. Let me finish the intro, bro. Listen, on Mondays, you can get Raw with Mimi and Lump. On Tuesdays, you get CTE with Chris Los and Travis. Wednesday, you get the only show you really want to listen to, Fist, Kicks, and Flicks. And on Thursdays, you can get is it Wednesday or Thursday? No, Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. Here we go. Angel, what's up, man? How you been?
I'm doing good, man. I just got back from a little family vacation in Orlando, so it was all right. It was good.
So you're on the shelf for tournaments, but you're still traveling. All right, cool.
Well,
that's fun.
I haven't seen that side of the family in like 10 years, so I had to.
That's
go
nice.
I had to, yeah.
Oh, that's good. And that's a you drove or flew?
No. I'll never drive. That's like a whole day it takes to drive. I just flew there.
All right, cool. Yeah. That's fun. All right. Well, it's good to see your family, man. I mean, that's important stuff.
Oh, that's
nice.
It was something, man. It was something.
Yeah.
Oh, it was something.
One of those kind of trips.
It was one of those kind of trips.
All right. I mean, hey, man, you gotta have some fun.
Yeah. But what about you? How was your weekend?
Okay, so I've been talking about it, leading up to it, and the big wedding. It happened. My best friend, my brother, Sean, he got married this weekend. Big Chaldean wedding. Never been a part of anything like that. Never been to anything. It was amazing. It really was. Lots of people. They party just like from beginning to end, man.
For real?
And yes, sir. It's just loud music, dancing, more dancing. Take a breath to give a speech and dance, and then you get to eat for like 20 minutes, and then they take it all away and you dance some more. It's crazy. It's just, we had a lot of fun. It was a good time. I was the best man. My kids got to be in the wedding.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone was dressed up real nice, and yeah, we had a good time. Seeing some people that I went to school with that were have been out of town. So some people I haven't seen for a while, and yeah, we had fun. We had a good time.
Oh, that's dope, dude. That's dope.
And now he's on his he's in the Dominican Republic right now on his honeymoon. So
okay, look at him out here.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
He
was sending pictures. He's in a nice resort.
Yeah,
he's good and everything. Yeah, he was showing off the resort. It looks really nice over there.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a fun weekend. I'm a little sore, I'm not as young as I used to be, so all that dancing and moving around is crazy.
Were you tearing up that dance floor?
As much as I can, man. I do what I gotta do.
I feel like you got a little soul in you. That's what I feel like. I feel you got a little soul in you.
Listen, man, I try to. So we had some fun. We had a good time. We had a lot of fun. So we switched it up. Protector 2, it was hard to find, and we weren't really feeling it. So Jeff suggested Surf Ninjas. And I said, you know what, let's roll with that, because I really haven't seen Surf Ninjas in a while. And to me, I don't know about you, because there's an age gap here, but to me, in the martial arts community, Surf Ninjas is just like a rite of passage. You have to watch this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the Three Ninjas as well. Like, there's some movies you have to watch as a martial artist as just who cares if they're good, bad, or whatever. Just as a martial artist, I feel like this is just one of those movies you watch it. It has Ernie Reyes Jr. in it. 2 years after the Ninja Turtle movie,
Yep,
the second Ninja Turtle movie.
Has his father.
Then, yeah, it has father in it, which was cool. And some other celebrities that kind of before their time that got really big before and after this movie.
It was so weird to see Rob Schneider. It was just weird.
It's even weirder because first off, good and well he's not 17 in that movie, and he's trying to play a 17-year-old.
Nah, he's
got to be like 23 in that movie or something.
He looked crazy in that movie.
Yeah, well, he's always crazy. So, Surf Ninjas. I mean, the title pretty much gives you the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. For the most part, you got two kids and their friend, and they're living in California. You find out very early in the movie they're orphan kids, and they like to surf. They start off the movie, they're surfing, they come home before school. They goof around a little bit, they mess with their dad a little bit, and they head off to school. And even in the car, they're surfing in the car. Which is, I guess that's a thing in California. I've never been to California, so I don't really know if that's something they still do or it was a 90s thing or what. But
it was a 90s thing. I ain't seen no one do that all the times I went.
Yeah. Gotcha. That makes sense to me because it's a little interesting. So the two boys are Johnny, played by is it me, or is Johnny just a name for a karate movie or what?
It's just everywhere.
It really is. Like I swear to God, one of these days we're gonna have to like sit down and count like how many Johnnies are in these damn karate movies.
Hey, we do fantasy matchups. We'll do a fantasy matchup, the Battle of the Johnnies.
Yeah, seriously, you know what? We could probably do that. Travis would like that. Give him one of his little matchups.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got Johnny, who's the older brother, and then we got Adam, who's the younger brother. And they're on their way to school. And what's Rob Schneider's name in this? Iggy. Iggy's just kind of at one point he's called a mascot by one of the characters, but basically he's just a friend that they like to have around, and he's very silly. And of course you expect that because it's Rob Schneider. And they get to school, and Johnny realizes that he's supposed to be giving a presentation to some out of the country Zen master lord. I don't really know exactly what he's supposed to be, but his name is Baba Ram. Pretty much like the song almost, Barbara Ann. So he is ill prepared for this, and he has to come up with some kind of traditional routine, which of course he's a slick guy. So he comes up with, he grabs the choir, and they sing Baba Ram, and the principal is horrified. He thinks they're offending this person who came and everything like that, and they kind of get in trouble. They don't really get like any detention or anything like that, but it's just a silly way to start off the movie. Now, the movie is also kind of being narrated at the beginning by a gentleman you only see in a hat and like a trench coat, and he has a patch on. So he's kind of narrating things until they introduce him maybe 10, 20 minutes into the movie. And his name is Satch with a Z. So he's got a patch on, and he's basically he's been fending off some ninja warriors that are trying to kill the boys.
Yeah, which I think is crazy. You're just gonna kill little boys without no remorse, but that's the life of the ninja code, I guess.
Well, the funny thing, so to stay in line with the 90s movies, these are terrible ninjas. They're just not good. They're wearing blue camo. There's always 100 of them somewhere following and lurking around, but they're easily get beat, or they're falling around, or they're just silly. They're not, just like Three Ninjas. They're always training somehow, but they're not great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's just like that silly. It just was a '90s thing. Like,
I just feel like we saw another Three Ninjas. That's what felt like we were watching.
I mean, yeah, with surfboards in California, more or less.
Yeah.
But I think this one, to me, there was a lot less silly moments. A lot of it was just straightforward to the point.
Yeah, it was a lot less antics in this.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. A lot less antics. Also, a little less fighting than Three Ninjas. There wasn't a whole. I mean, there was quite a bit of fighting, but there was, not as much as some of the other movies.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles and Three Ninjas. But for the most part, it was decent.
Yeah.
I was reading at the end. It was choreographed by both the Ernie Reyes, junior and senior.
Okay.
So I mean, they kept it simple, but they had some nice fight scenes. So we'll just skip ahead a little bit. The boys, they come home and they finally meet Satch, and they're a little freaked out. They don't know what's going on. Why is this guy in their house? He looks obviously a little different. Meanwhile, the dad recognizes him. The dad knows who he is. So there's a story here that we're not quite aware of, and we're gonna find out pretty much shortly after this whole scene, because the boys, Satch and their dad, get attacked by like 6, 7, 8 ninjas. So this is inside the burger restaurant. Now, do they live in the restaurant as well as like on top of the restaurant, or is that just the place of business?
No, they lived on top.
Okay, yeah. So this is their house slash place of business that the dad has, and I guess the story is the boys are royalty, and they belong. They're princes, soon to be kings or whatever, of a country called Batuzan. And of course, they don't believe this. They're kind of skeptical, except for Iggy, who has nothing to do with any of this. He's like, "Oh, these guys must be decoys. I'm the real royalty."
Yeah, he was all over the place.
He's clueless. Like I said, he's a fun guy, but he's clueless onto what's actually happening.
What did Satch said? Was he just your was he
is
just
he here just for entertainment, like a person would keep a pet monkey or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically where he called him a mascot. Or I guess in a king's court he would be the court jester.
Yeah.
Which I feel like Rob Schneider would exceed at. So Satch is basically he's explaining what happened and how we got here, and basically saying that the boys have a destiny to start a revolution in Patizan, take on Lord Chen, I believe it is, and to free the country of this overlord who's basically kind of taken over in their absence and is making life miserable for everyone. So they have an obligation, according to Satch, to free their people. And again, if this is two teenagers hearing about this for the first time, of course they're going to be skeptical. It's a lot to take in at one time. But apparently, along with this destiny of theirs, they're supposed to get, I don't know if you want to necessarily call it magical powers. I mean, I guess to a certain point, but they're supposed to inherit some kind of gift. And that's Johnny is supposed to be like a warrior, a Patizan warrior. And I guess which comes with like a martial arts ability, and he can wield a sword and that kind of thing. And then his brother Adam is considered like a seer. So he's supposed to kind of like be able to see the future, kind of predict things, close his eyes maybe and see in his head things before they happen. And he kind of sees his gift come to fruition before his older brother, because he has an Angel may or may not know what this is, but it is a PlayStation or a Sony Game Gear. This was Sony's competition for Game Boy. Have you ever seen one, or do you know what it is?
I'll look it up now. Hold up. Game Gear? Sony Game Gear?
Game Gear. This was like, I think, right, maybe during the PlayStation 1 era. And this was Sony trying to compete with Game Boy, more or less. And it was actually, I had one, my brother had one. They were pretty nice at the time. Because
Sony, right?
I believe it was Sony.
Because
I thought it was attached to PlayStation.
All I see is Sega Game Gear.
Oh yeah, Sega. Sorry.
Okay.
Because you're right. You're right. Sega Game Gear. This was Sega and Nintendo at the time were the two competitors.
Gotcha.
Dang, so it was before Sony PlayStation. Yeah. Dang, I kind of thought it was, man, that was really early then. So anyhow, I'm not sure exactly when they came out, but I know that they were very popular. They were a nice machine at the time, like I said, because I think this was with the big clunky Game Boy that just had like the black and gray screen in green. So this one had color, nice sound. It had more controls. It was nice. So Adam is playing this, and he all of a sudden a game comes up. He thought he was playing Shinobi, and he's playing Surf Ninjas. The name of the movie. Ha ha ha. Anyhow, he doesn't. As he's playing the game, he starts to realize the things that are happening on the game are kind of coming true. So this is where, like I said, his ability to kind of predict and see the future is happening on his handheld video game before it's happening in life. So slowly he starts to learn how to hone it and help out during some of these fights, and I guess he can eventually start like choosing different weapons and things around him to help his environment and help everything move along and help things happen. You got anything to say about that, Angel?
No, I mean, more or less you actually covered a lot of it. I just thought when I heard the title Surf Ninjas, and just like we'll talk a little bit later, like how they kind of like maneuvered around some certain things. I kind of laughed and kind of chuckled myself because I always wondered how the name came about, and I paid attention this time and I figured it out.
Okay,
so I thought that part was kind of cool.
This isn't the first time you've seen this, right?
No, but I haven't since I was like 3 or 2.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. You would never remember.
I've never gone out of my way to rewatch this. Like,
oh, I see. I used to watch it a lot growing up, like when it was out.
I was more of a Three Ninjas type of person. Can we also
watch both?
Can we also just talk about how I did not like the samurai, Nielsen? Like, I did not like the way he played.
That character. He reminded me of Double Dragon.
It kind of did. I just didn't like he was a samurai with a gun. That was the dumbest thing in the world.
I don't even think. Yeah, I guess you're right, because before his, and we'll get to that part, before his accident, I guess he was a samurai, and I guess he kind of became more of a cyborg towards the end.
Yeah, but he he wore the samurai stuff.
Well, some of that was to cover up his. Well, we're getting there because that's coming up. But first things first, the dad was taken by the ninjas.
Yep.
And I guess he's heading over to Chen. He's going to take him hostage, probably hoping that it will. He really wants the boys. He wants to kill the boys so then nobody can take over and stop his reign of terror. Well, so now it's the boys, it's Iggy, and it's Satch, and they want to find their dad. They want to know what's going on. Meanwhile, we got to figure out, we got all these ninjas coming in. There's 10, 12, 13 of them. Satch fights a couple of them off, and he does the also major 90s thing. He blows up the house.
Of course.
Opens up the ovens, lights a candle. You let all that gas come out, blows up all the ninjas, blows up the house. No big deal. It's just a house, right?
Yeah.
Things, that to me, that was always a 90s thing. It was just like, oh, you got a problem? Blow up the house. Okay.
More explosions.
Yeah. I mean, at least unlike Double Dragon, they weren't just random explosions, but kind of on par. Satch takes the boys to, I guess what would be considered like a Chinatown type area, but he's calling it Little Patazan.
Yeah.
And so it's literally like a tiny little home away from home. Like I said, it's like a Chinatown. And he takes him to a restaurant, and I guess the restaurant is full of folks from Patazan, and he meets one of his constituents, and this gentleman basically is calling Johnny like his soon-to-be son-in-law, because I guess Johnny was betrothed to his daughter. So when he was a kid, he was basically promised to marry the daughter and make her queen. So of course, as a 16, 17-year-old kid, it's a lot to take in. And then, of course, they bring her out. She's got a veil over her face. They're making jokes that she's probably covering up her face because she's ugly, this and that, silly little kid stuff. And, Of course, they pull away the veil, and she's a beautiful girl. And he's taken back, and he's like, oh, well, this could work. But then again, what 16, 17-year-olds thinking about marriage still? I mean, I guess that's how it works in these small little countries or whatever. But
different folks.
Yep. I mean, like you said, they get to that later. They actually talk about it, but no big deal. So of course, they're having a party. Everyone's happy, and then here come the ninjas. How do these ninjas keep finding them? Do they got a tracker on them? Like,
I was like, man, those guys, they must be tracking somebody. I thought Iggy was in on it the whole time.
Now, see, that would have been hilarious.
That's what I kept thinking. I was like, this dude's in on it.
You put your M. Night Shyamalan cap on.
Yeah.
You got a big twist at the end, and that would have been interesting. Because Rob Schneider could make an interesting bad guy.
I kept thinking he would have been like he was in on it. I don't know. I just kept feeling that way.
It would have been hilarious if like somehow during this journey he got like his face burned, and now he's got a mask and he turns into a cyborg just like the Chen, and that's his son or something. That would have been interesting. I think that would have made it fun.
That probably would have made it sell better.
It would help us figure out how these ninjas keep finding them every time.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because here I am, I'm kind of rewatching it, going, how do they keep finding them?
Yeah, I know, definitely. I was the same way.
There's no real there's no GPS and triangulation at this time, so they're just popping up every time. So Adam sees this on his Game Gear. He's trying to help out. He's throwing chopsticks in, and he's throwing octopus squid at guys, and Satch is doing his fighting and taking everyone out, and he takes out all the guys, and they start to escape. And you know what? There's a character I missed, and it was so funny because it makes me laugh.
Who, Tony Loke?
Tone Loke.
Tone Loke, yeah, Lieutenant, right?
Yep, Lieutenant Spence. Lieutenant Spence showed up when the boys first were attacked by the ninjas and their father was taken. And Lieutenant Spence makes me laugh because I feel like he was Ice-T in Law and Order.
Yeah.
Before there was ever Ice-T in Law and Order.
No,
like he's the same type of character, just real laid back, got that deep voice, just says whatever the hell he wants, makes up whatever he wants on the spot, and is just, he's just real involved but not quite involved. And I thought that I was thinking that just watching this, like, we're ahead of our time here.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I actually thought the same thing. He just came out crazy stuff like, hope the hood don't find out about this. He just came out.
Yeah. I hope the homies don't find out when he's surfing at the end. I mean, just literally, like, if you took this movie and we're watching SVU. Now, SVU obviously is more serious most of the time, but come on, Ice-T makes that show because that character is so good.
I forgot what. I don't know if it was Family Guy or I saw something somewhere online, and they were like Ice-T in Law and Order, and they showed him go, "Yep, he's dead," and he just walks away. And I'm like, "Yo, that's really what." Whenever you see him, he goes, "Yep, he's dead," or he just goes, "This shit is crazy," and he just keeps going. Like he just always got like he has like one-liners, but it's just the fact that he's talking, it just makes you go like, "Oh damn!" Like it's crazy.
There is a comedian who talks about Ice-T in the in SVU, and he goes through like all the things that were said by Ice-T, and he says he literally just wants an episode of those scenes of like, he said I could just watch a whole episode of that and then fade to black. Executive producer Dick Wolf, and that would be, he's like, that would be the best episode. And I'm like, it's just so funny. So this reminded me of that, because I mean, Tone Loc at the time, I don't know if he was necessarily a huge personality in the rap community. I think he only had like a couple of hits, 3 or 4 that I could think of. So I don't know if that puts him on the scene like that. But I mean, I don't remember him in anything else other than this.
Neither.
I'd have to look it up.
I feel it, but
he wasn't bad. I mean, he added some flavor to the movie for sure.
No, he definitely did.
Yeah, he was interesting, especially as a cop. But that's what that made me think of.
Yeah.
So he ends up on a boat to Partizan. He follows the kids. He gets out there and he's like, they think he's going to try and stop them, but he says he's going to join them. It's just what he could need. What made no sense to me. It's like, what do you mean you get? He's like, I had a vacation. This isn't a vacation. These people want to kill them. You call that a vacation? There's people chasing these kids to kill them.
I'm looking at Tone Loc, like what he got. The only thing I really remember him from was like some like the like normal hits like Poetic Justice. I didn't know he was in Heat. I don't remember that.
Oh, so he did some other acting.
Yeah. He was. Oh, he's done a bunch of movies.
Okay.
He's done BB's Kids, Blank Check, Ace Ventura.
BB's Kids was great. Oh, yeah. He was in Ace Ventura.
I saw him in Ace Ventura. That one I know I saw him in. Poetic Justice.
I forgot about him in Ace Ventura. See, I might not have known that was him.
Freedom Strike. Faking the Funk. I'm trying to think about anything else.
Hey,
he was in another Disney movie. He did a lot of movies, though. He did a lot
good for him.
Yeah.
I'm glad. That's funny. Man, that makes me want to watch Ace Ventura again because I forgot that was him.
Yeah, I do remember him in Ace Ventura. That's why when I saw him, I was like, where else did he play? But now I saw it.
So, Satch is showing everyone around Partizan, and he's taking the boys, to their village. And on the way, he stops and he in a cave where there's a few things in there, but there's a sword. And he's been trying the whole time to get Johnny to realize his destiny. And Johnny kind of doesn't realize it until there's a scene where his future wife, girlfriend, whatever he wants her to be, is in trouble, and all of a sudden some fighting moves kind of appear. Yeah. He's making some blocks, he's punching and kicking, he doesn't know what's going on, and he starts beating up some of these ninjas. And so Satch takes him to this cave and gives him a sword that's kind of part of his destiny. We do this hallelujah, lights from the sky when he picks up the sword. I guess destiny fulfilled. So now he's coming to become the warrior that he was always meant to be. And he's going to need it down the road because there's a couple of big fight scenes here. But during this scene, which I like this scene, this was a good fight scene, Satch decides to see just what Johnny's got now that he's got his sword, he's got his fighting skills, and they have a nice little fighting scene. Yeah, he was taking it to him.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I wonder how many times Ernie and his dad have these sparring sessions. You know what I'm saying? Because his dad taught him, right?
Yeah, I feel like pretty often.
That'd be interesting. Like, I always have my brother. So, and when we fought, man, like, we went all out. Because you don't want to be on that car ride home saying, I lost to you. I lost to you. Like, you don't want that. So when we would fight, like, it was always a good fight no matter who won.
Yeah.
Because we go all out, man. So I can't imagine. You know what? If it was my dad, I'd probably show him more respect than my brother. Until he hit me really hard. Then I'd be like, okay, old man, it's time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
But still, in the end, like, it'd probably be harder for me to hit my dad than my brother. Because my brother and I, was always that sibling rivalry between us. But so, yeah, this was a nice little fight. And just getting Johnny kind of ready for what's ahead. Because he's really going to basically have to take Chen and his army on head first. So here we are. We're moving on to the village of Patusan. Of course, Iggy himself is still in denial. He still is pretending like he's the real king. These two are decoys. The princess is his girl, not, he's just being a goofball. And when we get to the village, Satch has one more thing for the boys. He's got headbands.
Yeah.
Another big thing in the 80s and 90s. He puts headbands on the boys. And of course, Iggy's feeling left out. So Johnny says, I'll just give him one. And pretty much everyone's putting headbands on anyway. So why not Iggy?
Why not let him
maybe. Yeah, give him a little confidence. Maybe he'll surprise you, which I don't really think he does, but it's okay. He's the comic relief. It's all right. Adam, he ends up hijacking a Jeep, and I guess he's been talking about how he wants to drive, so he's super excited because he is driving this Jeep, and they are being chased by 3 other Jeeps of Chen warriors. And for the first time, Iggy does contribute, I guess is the word I'm looking for. He finds a box of dynamite. And the princess tells him to throw it. And what does he do?
He threw
What did he do? He threw it.
He threw down, like,
but he didn't even light it.
Yeah.
He threw it like he hit the guy in the face. But he didn't light it. You're like, you're supposed to be blowing up some trucks here, man. So yeah, they all tell him, okay, don't throw it until you light it. So the lieutenant has some cigarettes and a lighter. So they start lighting some dynamite, and we get some more explosions.
Pop, pop, pop! Explosion!
Yeah. So we get a couple of good explosions. The Jeeps go up, and they make it to the town, and they have a little feast. He talks to his people. They kind of welcome them as the lost princes and the princess and everything. And it's just it's a quaint little town. The people seem really nice. They're super excited to have their long lost princess back, and they're probably even more excited to kind of get this revolution going so they can get their hometown back and they can, start moving on with their lives instead of being under the thumb of this bad guy, this Chen who kind of took over all these years ago.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't really touch on that. So really quickly, they did kind of go back in time, and Satch tells the story of
like what happened.
Yeah, and how the boys ended up in California with their father. Well, who they thought was their father, Mac. So when they were young princes, Chen came and attacked, and Satch had taken on the army, and he was in charge of taking the boys and getting them out because they didn't want Chen to kill them and take their spot. So Mac was enlisted with the army, so he was here on a mission. And so I guess this village had trusted him in the past, so they trusted him with the two princes. And then Satch had fought Chen, and during the fight, Chen had cut his eye. That's how he ended up with the eye patch that he's been wearing the whole movie. But during this time, he did defeat Chen, and Chen was trampled by an elephant. So this is why Chen is, one, kind of in a bad mood this whole movie, but also he's almost like a cyborg. I guess he has like a hand that's electrical and can't get in water. He's got a mask on his face where I guess he was trampled, so his face is jacked up on that side.
Yeah.
He's wearing some kind of samurai outfit.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I guess.
Whatever. Yeah, he looked like a super villain from Power Rangers.
Yeah, you know what? See, I said Double Dragon, but Power Rangers does make more sense.
Yeah, that's what he looked like.
Like something Rita concocted in her cauldron or whatever, right? Good old Power Rangers. You know what? Not the older movies, but the newer movie that they did, we could probably cover that one. It wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible.
I like the older one, but that's just me.
Well, the older's always great. Especially when I found out Richard Brandon was a part of it.
Yeah. I like the older one. That's just me,
They did do older movies, didn't they?
They did one actual theatrical release.
I probably saw it and just don't remember.
You all saw it. I mean, if you knew Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you saw it. It was probably huge.
I probably did. The problem with the Power Rangers, to me, the Power Rangers, the original was the best, and then they just kept making like 50 different versions of it, and that's when it got crazy.
Technically, they all have, it's like one huge story, technically.
I know, but...
Because I've watched all consistently, and it's like one huge story. Like Power Rangers.
Because then, isn't there one where they bring them all together?
Yeah, the red one or whatever, the Red Ranger episode or something.
Yeah, it got too crazy for me.
I loved it either way.
Of course you did. That was probably more your era because I was 12 or 13, I think, when that came out.
Yeah, like so I watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers growing up, so it was amazing.
Save that for another day, probably. Probably torture Gene with that.
Yeah, I will. I got you.
So at this point we are scouting out. There's an island out in the middle of the ocean, and this is where Mac is being held. This is where the army, Chen's army's held up, and they're basically watching the island where all the Patuzani people, where Johnny and Adam and Pat are Satch and Iggy are, and they're watching the front from the front. They're expecting an assault from the front. So Johnny, being the wise king that he is now, or prince, he asks, "Well, what's going on in the back of the island? Like, is anybody back there?" And they say, "Nah, nothing's going on back there. We could probably sneak in that way." And Adam, the quote unquote seer, the predictor of everything, is checking out his Game Gear for answers, and he says the answers aren't there. Like, he's asking Zatch, like, usually the answers show up. What should I do? And he says, the power's been in you the whole time. You don't need the technology to help you. So he's looking around at the trees, and he starts to close his eyes, and he opens them, and he starts seeing surfboards. So I guess the idea is to surf to the back of the island and have an ambush, a surprise attack, to end this war, this revolution. And that's what they do. They make a bunch of surfboards, and everybody is gonna surf on over because, I mean, we just all learned how to make surfboards, and now we can all surf apparently. I thought that was funny. I'm just like, okay, 3 guys from California, which, by the way, only Johnny and Adam surf in this movie.
Yeah.
Iggy pretends he's always waxing his board or, getting ready to surf, but he's never actually really surfed.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a running joke at the beginning of the movie. But he's got no choice at this point if he wants to be a part of the revolution. He's got to figure it out. And so the princes, they take their own little army to the back, and they take some dynamite with them, and they go, and we have this famous scene that we always have in these movies of all these ninjas. They're practicing.
They're training.
They got weapons, and they're training. No one's running the training, but they're training. They're training real hard to kick some serious ass, which they never do. So, what are you training for, bro?
They're just training just to look good. They have to at least look
exactly right.
They're getting paid. They have to. The least they could do is at least look menacing.
Yes, very much so. They look like a bunch of G.I. Joe trainees or something.
No, for real.
It's kind of funny. Anyhow, Johnny, this part kind of got me a little bit. So he just got this sword that was special for him, right? And what does he do when the fighting starts? He gives it to Iggy.
Yeah.
Really?
And like, of all the people, and then he runs away with it.
Yeah. And I don't even think Iggy took the sword. I don't even think he unsheathed it. I think he was using it with the sheath on it.
I think he was.
So I'm like, what's the point? But I mean, what would you expect from Iggy? That nothing different from Iggy. So they throw some dynamite in all this training, and the revolution is on. It starts. It's going. Johnny and Satch, they're jumping around. They're kicking some butt here and there. Johnny gets some trifold nunchucks. He's using those and beating people up. Like I said, Iggy, he's hitting people with the sword, even though he hasn't took it out of its case. The princess, she's fighting, and she throws this gentleman down a pair of stairs, and he rolls down. And we get a nice running joke with that because he gets knocked down the stairs, I think, like 3 more times. Every time he gets back up, someone knocks him down. And it was, it was silly, but it was funny. It was okay. It was good. And then we see Chen, and he pops out, and he has Mac at gunpoint. So it kind of stops the fighting for a second. And Adam, of all people, he throws his Game Gear and knocks the gun out of Chen's hand. But in the process, Satch gets shot in the shoulder, and then Mac, he gets free, so at least, they got their dad back, and Satch ends up being okay. And he makes a joke because there's been a running joke that Iggy, every time he says "what if something," and then it happens, he thinks that that's his power. But most of everything that he said when he said that was a coincidence.
It was just gonna happen anyways.
Yeah, it was already gonna happen. But he wants to feel special. Let's make him feel kind of special. But it's Iggy. Like I said, he's the comic relief. So Satch makes a joke. What if I was okay? And, ha ha ha. Everyone laughs. It's a good time. We're at the final battle scene, and it's Johnny. He's gonna take on Chen all by himself. Chen comes in. He's driving in a one of these Jeeps. He's shooting a gun, and Johnny's hitting bullets with a sword. That was a little ridiculous.
I thought we were watching The Last Dragon.
Right? I know if Gene was here, he would have something to say about that.
Of course.
He might even have a rant about it, We might have to get that rant from him later, but that's okay. Adam picks up the Game Gear and he starts controlling the Chen. Now Chen has that electrical hand, and it tends to short circuit, and Adam figures out on the Game Gear he can make it short circuit at will. So Chen has this big rifle that he can't shoot because his arm keeps going haywire and he drops the gun. And then Johnny gets his sword, but Chen convinces him that it's not honorable to fight an unarmed man with a sword.
Yeah.
So they have a fight, but it's not even really a fight. I mean, this is my last problem with this movie. If this is supposed to be the last battle scene, it was kind of weak. Because instead of fighting, we just have a malfunction. We have some silliness. And then it's not even a kick. He doesn't even kick him into the water to make him short circuit. He just kind of pushes him over with his finger. So no big deal. I mean, you took Chen out. He's in the water. His arm can't get wet. Now he's kind of malfunctioned. And he's done. The revolution is over. And it's time to rejoice, time to party, and time to be, the kings and queens and princes that these boys, I guess, were destined to be. So they're dressed up for royalty. They're dressed up for a party. I thought they were going to have like a coronation or something like that. But instead, they are here to give a speech. And Johnny decides that this whole idea of kings and queens and princes is too much. He decides he's going to dissolve the entire monarch and let the people be free and make their own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he liked the idea of marrying the princess, she didn't like the idea of being betrothed. So they decide they're just going to date. They're not going to worry about marriage or anything like that. And then who else pops up? Bob Aram. Turns out he was not offended. He enjoyed the song. Oh, and by the way, that's how we end the movie. Everybody's singing Bob Aram. What a typical 90s thing to do.
Yeah.
You started the movie with a song, you ended the movie with a song.
That was a cliche type thing.
Yep. I mean, that's the movie. That's Surf Ninjas right there.
Basically.
I mean, we only saw, if you count the time that they were surfing in the car, they were surfing 3 times this entire movie. And that's how we got Surf Ninjas.
That's why I said, like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, Surf Ninjas.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say this. Is this the greatest movie we've ever seen?
No.
No. But like I said, okay, probably not now, but if I had a karate school of my own, and my karate school, and I know that I've heard you talk about this a few times, we used to do movie nights.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a staple.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to show movies to your students, I think this just has to be in there. It's entertaining. It's appropriate for most age groups.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a fun movie to watch. It has some karate in it. And if you watch the Ninja Turtle movies before this and then you watch this, you're like, oh, Ernie, it's Kino. So like I said, sometimes I rate these movies a little harder than most, but this one, I'm just going to rate it how I feel because it's nostalgic to me and it's a staple. I can't give it an A because there's, it's not great. It's not over the top, but I can easily give this just a straight B. I like it. I enjoyed it. I still think it holds up. It's entertaining. It's a little over the top, but I mean, it was 93. So I'm totally good with it. I don't know what you feel, but fire away, bro.
Without my feelings attached to the movie, I'd probably give it a C+. But because it's that nostalgic feel to it, I would say B-.
Okay.
I just wish they had more.
Just remember, you gave. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. More fighting would have been better.
I feel like with Ernie Reyes Jr. in there, we could have got some really good fight scenes.
I agree. Expect him and his dad.
That's the only reason why I say I wouldn't give it higher. I like how they were for a kid movie as opposed to all the other ones we watch. I like how they were straight to the point. Everything was just like there wasn't like how we said it wasn't so much antics that makes me get out of the movie. I wish they would have more fighting.
But see, without the antics, we should have got more action.
That's why I'm saying. That's why that's the only thing that makes me say like B-. Like I'll give you that.
But still, like I said, if you're a karate school,
you watch.
If you do a movie night, or if you got the kids that come and ask you, oh, what's a nice family fun movie? You got to put this on your list.
Absolutely.
If they hate it, so what? They're silly. This is just one of those movies that you just have to watch. It really is. I do believe that. Yeah, play it till you love it. Three Ninjas, Ninja Turtles. I mean, these are all, just great movies. And that maybe kids nowadays won't understand them, but that's okay.
Yeah,
because this is what we were here for, man. Karate Kid, Ninja Turtles, The Last Dragon. I mean, come on. These were just great movies. Bloodsport. I'm going to figure this out. Maybe we'll do a bonus episode, but I did not like Gene and Mike's review of Bloodsport because they kind of dogged it. And I feel that was just a staple of like one of my.
I don't give a fuck what anyone says. It's like a Mortal Kombat for me. You're gonna get an A+. You can say you hate it as much as you want. It's a staple. A+. There we go.
Well, I got their hate for it. I understood what their problem was with it. But I guess just at the time I watched it and what I watched it and how many times I've seen that movie, like I can put that movie on every time and watch it all the way through, no problem.
Me too.
So I don't know. That's just me, but we'll save that for another day.
Absolutely.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed us today. I know it's a little different feel without Gene. But I think we did a good job. We covered a good movie. Don't forget, we are check out Martial Arts Network on all of our social medias, but also check out the Patreon page. We are putting out bonus episodes. At the highest level, you're going to get some swag, every so often. And I mean, there's so much more content coming. You're going to get everything as it's recorded, so you won't have to wait till the next day.
Yeah.
Trust me, you guys won't be disappointed. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot more coming. So please check that out. Yeah, please check that out.
The best episodes are on Patreon, without a doubt.
Oh, yes.
The best episodes. the best.
You're just getting us. You're getting us raw and unfiltered, and I mean it's great. We're putting out some good stuff over there. Yeah, and then so for the next few weeks, we are going to be covering this season 5 of Cobra Kai, and let me tell you, I'm on the very last episode of season 4 because I went back and started watching it.
Yeah,
and I've been watching like all these trailers that are coming out. I'm ready. This is like, I'm probably gonna watch this, then give it a day and watch it again before we get to.
I got some good news too in terms like on my part. So once I get everything in, I'll let y'all know.
Okay, for sure.
So you dope.
Yep. So please check that out. You're not gonna want to miss that. Please at least just check out the Patreon. I mean, the lowest level is $5 a month. You're going to support us here at the main gang, and all that's going to do is just give you more content, more things to listen to, give us more free reign to start putting out even more and more content, and it's going to be great, guys. Please check that out. So other than that, do you have anything else?
No, man. Just make sure you guys check it out. Make sure you pay attention to what we're going to be doing with Cobra Kai. We're going to be doing something a little different than our last time we did the series, so it's going to be real interesting. See how we break this down. And yeah, man, just make sure you guys support the channel, support the page, and we'll catch you on the next one.
For sure. All right. Stay safe. Stay strong. Director, play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.